You must love podcasts if you're listening to this. Do you want to start your own one or you already have one? Then follow Smarter Podcasting to get expert advice from me, Niall Mackay, the podcast guy. Since 2019, we've worked with over 40 podcasters, produced over 700 episodes, and helped many podcasts get to the top of the Apple Podcast charts. And right now, I'm offering you a professional edit for just $27. Click the link in the show notes. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to offer 2 services for you right now. I only have 2 spots available for each package, and they're only available for the next 4 weeks. You're going to walk away with the confidence that you're not just starting a podcast, you're building something with legs. So if you're serious about launching your podcast, but you don't know where to start and you don't want to waste time as well, this is more than just a course. This is expert guidance and fast feedback. Welcome to Smarter Podcasting with me, Niall Mackay, the podcast guy. I started my first podcast in 2019 after being obsessed with them since they very first started. Since you had to download them onto something called an iPod, and you're going to know how old you are if you know what an iPod is or not. But I used to download the Ricky Gervais show onto the iPod on the way to university, and I absolutely binged it. I became obsessed with Serial in 2014, listened to that on the couch together with my wife. And then in 2019, I was bored one day. I live in Vietnam, Saigon. I wanted to know more about the people that lived here. So I started my podcast, a Vietnam podcast, which is now the longest running English language podcast in Vietnam and in the top 5% of podcasts worldwide. And at any moment now, we are about to hit the magical 100,000 downloads. I started 7 Million Bikes podcast, where we help people produce the best podcasts possible. We work now with podcasters all over the world, from New Zealand all the way to LA and everywhere in between. We've helped over 60 podcasts, produced over 1,000 episodes, helped with millions of downloads, and helped podcasts get to the top of the charts. And now many of those podcasts are producing episodes consistently, ranking in the charts, connecting with their audience, and growing their business. This includes Britcham Vietnam, the Fidenum Group worldwide, the Vietnam is Awesome podcast. All of these podcasts had very different goals and aims, and we have helped each and every one of them achieve that. Our proudest podcast, though, is without doubt the Delta MV podcast. When they approached me to work with them, they had a very specific niche and a very specific audience that they wanted to target. They weren't aiming for thousands or hundreds of thousands of downloads. They didn't want to talk about everything and anything. They wanted to talk directly about their niche, what they're experts in, and they wanted to target people that were already their customers, which was a very, very small customer base, but with the potential for a high return. So with a very small investment of just a few $100s, we were able to create the first season of the Delta MV podcast. They sent it out to their customer base, and almost instantly they got a new contract from that. If you're serious about integrating podcasting as one of the marketing channels for your business with a massive return on investment, then this package is for you. Now, when I said how not to monetize your podcast, what I recommended in that episode was not to go down the sponsorship route. It's really difficult. It is really only designed for media companies, and it's designed for people with massive, massive audiences, which, let's be really honest, 99% of podcasts don't have that massive audience. But you can still monetize your podcast, and I explained that in the last episode. One of the best things to do is sell your own services. And so I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and I'm going to do that right now. Now, I assume that you are tuning into this podcast because one of 2 reasons. 1, you're either thinking of starting your podcast, or 2, you already have one and you want to learn how to make the best podcast possible. This podcast, Smarter Podcasting, has a very small niche. It's for people who want to start a podcast or people who already have a podcast and want to make it even better. So I'm going to offer 2 services for you right now. I only have 2 spots available for each package, and they're only available for the next 4 weeks. Number 1 is the Podcast Launch Lab. Now, in just 14 days, you can get your podcast launched and started. So this is for new or aspiring podcasters who don't want to wing it. They don't want to spend all their time Googling it. They just want to talk to an expert, find out the answers quickly, and get launched within the next 14 days. So the first package is the Podcast Launch Lab. This is how you can get your podcast launched in just 14 days. And this is for new and aspiring podcasters who don't want to waste their time with YouTube tutorials. They don't want to Google everything. They don't want to find out all the answers on their own and spend hours and hours and hours of time of research, which just means Googling. They want to find out from an expert how to get started within 14 days. If that sounds like you, then this package is for you, and get in touch with me right now. This is the smarter, faster way to launch your podcast with confidence and do it with an expert by your side. Don't just take it from me.
John and I have been planning our podcast, Connect and Power, for many, many months, and everything about it was challenging. I honestly felt defeated, frustrated, and ready to give up. It even challenged our partnership. After we started working with Niall with 7 Million Bikes podcast, I can't describe the relief. We don't feel like failures anymore.
The time Niall has taken to not only teach us, but his random texts and phone call support has been incredible. He's more than a mentor. He's become a friend, a huge supporter, and you'd be stupid not to use him. You'll become better because of his guidance, care, and love for his client's success. We're so grateful. Thank you.
So what do you get in this package? On day one, we'll start with a deep dive call with me, which will last at least 45 minutes, where we'll map out your entire podcast vision from concept to launch. So we'll cover defining your audience and your core message, clarifying your format and frequency, the naming, the branding, the artwork, recording setup. So we'll go through all your tech, all your tools, everything you need, everything you have, and we'll figure out how to plan, record, submit, and publish all on day one. So you will walk away in just 45 minutes knowing exactly what you need to do to get your podcast started. During these 14 days as well, you will have unlimited messaging with me, whether that's WhatsApp or Messenger, whatever works for you. You can message me at any time, day or night. I'll respond as soon as I get it with any question, even if it's something as silly as what mic should I buy or does this title make sense? And I will get back to you with my feedback at any time during those 14 days. You can just think of me as your partner in this project. Then on day 8, we're going to have a check-in call, which is going to be 15 minutes. And we're going to make sure that you're taking action on everything that we've pointed out, tackle anything that's stopping you, and we'll also tweak the plan to keep you on track. Then on day 14 is the final prep and launch review call, where we will chat for at least 20 minutes. This means you're almost ready. We're going to review your trailer and your first episode. We're going to polish any last-minute details like the title, the artwork, or the descriptions. And we're going to create a checklist for the next 30 to 60 days after you launch. So you're going to leave this call ready to hit publish, and most of all, really proud of what you've built. And we'll not finish there. We're going to have a follow-up call 90 days after. 3 months after you've hit publish, we're going to have a follow-up call for 15 minutes, and we can reconnect and talk about how it's going. Are all your systems still working? And most importantly, where should you go next? So you're going to get tailored step-by-step advice and a gentle accountability nudge to keep you on track. As part of this, you'll also get shared access to a podcast planning checklist, episode format template, content calendar template, growth tracking spreadsheet, and a launch submission guide, so you know exactly what you need to do. So after 14 days, you're going to walk away with over 2 hours working with me, an award-winning podcast producer, a clear, focused podcast concept that you're really proud of, all your gear sorted so you don't waste any purchases and there's no second guessing. You walk away with your show format, your intro, your outro, and your trailer drafted. Your first 1 to 3 episodes will all be in progress or even better recorded, and a plan to launch on all platforms. So you're going to walk away with the confidence that you're not just starting a podcast, you're building something with legs. So if you're serious about launching your podcast, but you don't know where to start and you don't want to waste time as well, this is more than just a course. This is expert guidance and fast feedback so that within 14 days, you can get your podcast launched. And look, don't just listen to me. We've been working with podcasters for years. We work with Matt Ryland at the BritCham podcast, and that is now super successful, helping them get members. So if this sounds like the right fit for you, go to the show notes. But let's be honest, you're probably in the gym or in the car. You can't go to the show notes right now. But when you get a chance, go to 7millionbikes.com/launch lab, or just go to 7millionbikes.com. Send me a message. Let's get you started and let's get your podcast out in the next 14 days. All right, so that's offer number 1 for those who want to start their podcast. Now, if you've already started your podcast, but you want a podcast makeover in the next 14 days, then this is the plan for you. This is for podcasters who've already started their show, but you know it could be sharper, you know it could be a little bit better, whether it's clunky edits, editing the flow, or just underwhelming sounds. If this sounds like you, then this is the program for you. So on day one, we're going to have a kickoff call for 30 minutes where we're going to discuss your goals, your pain points, your workflow, and importantly, your tech setup. I'll do a quick pulse check on your latest episode as well and how your podcast presents itself overall, from the artwork to the show notes to the titles. So on day 4, we're going to get back on a call for a deep dive audit, which is going to be at least 60 minutes. And I'm going to give you a step-by-step walkthrough of the audit with actionable fixes for your audio or video quality, the branding, the structure, the artwork, show notes, titles, and everything I can think of. That's going to give you then another 3 days to put these tips into action for your next episode. And on day 7, we're going to have another 15-minute call just to make sure that you're starting to make these changes, answer any questions that you have, and refining that next episode before you publish. Then on day 14, we're going to have the final evaluation for 30 minutes. I'm going to review that episode that you've created based on my feedback, see what's improved, and lock in what to keep doing, and if there's anything, what to stop as well. And after 90 days, 3 months later, I'm going to follow up with you for a 15-minute call to see if you've made the fixes, did you keep the momentum going, and we will celebrate all of your wins and plan for the next 90 days. As part of this package, you will also get access to a fix-it checklist, audio editing quick wins, and branding and clarity tips, and much, much more as well. Now, also, you will get 14 days of unlimited messaging, where it's basically having a podcast producer in your back pocket. So when you're stuck on anything, or you just need to vent, you can send me a message and I'll be there to help you as well. So in this package, by day 14, you're going to have one polished episode that you are really proud of, ready to publish. You're going to have cleaner sound, tighter delivery, and a professional feel. You're going to have stronger branding that reflects your voice, and you're going to have clear, confident direction going forward. And most of all, you're going to have me keeping you accountable for your leveling up. So you'll get over 2 hours of direct access to me. You will also have unlimited messaging support during that day, and you will get documented and actionable takeaways and a follow-up call in 3 months to keep you accountable and keep you on track. Don't just take it from me.
I've been working with Neil at 7 Million Bikes for the whole of this year, literally from the start of my podcast to date. When we record the podcast, sometimes there are things that I need tweaking. They could be edits or clips. It's really simple. I give those instructions to Neil, he gets it sorted. All those things that can distract a listener, Neil knows exactly what to do, cleans it up. The end result, a highly professional, beautiful sounding podcast without distraction. That's exactly what I want. I know my listeners do. So if you're interested in having that level of podcast and that kind of quality, Neil is a great guy and I highly recommend you speak to him.
So I know what you're thinking right now. How much does this cost? So for the Launch Lab, which is a strategy session, check-in call, unlimited messaging, final prep and launch review, and personalized docs and launch resources, this is only $247. Now you can also go for the Launch Lab Pro, which includes everything I've just talked about in the standard plan, plus your first episode fully produced by me and my team. So you'll get 1 audio or video episode edited, 3 short video clips. You'll also get show notes and titles and distribution across all the podcast platforms. This is perfect if you want to hear what done right sounds like, and then you can use this as a reference for future episodes. So if this sounds like you already have a podcast and you just want a makeover, then you should go for the value pack, which is $147, which is the full audit, all the calls, unlimited support, and all the documents. If you want to go for the pro level, it's just $297. And I will actually edit your next episode using the feedback that I've given you so you can hear the difference yourself before going it alone. This is perfect for you if you've launched your podcast already. It's been going for a while, but you need a little bit of help. You know it works, but you want it to be a little bit better. It's also perfect if you're not chasing fame. You don't want to be the next Joe Rogan or Stephen Bartlett. You just want your podcast to sound legit, especially if it's to support your business and you want people to trust me. It's also perfect if you're ready to take action and implement expert advice fast in just 14 days. So if this sounds like it's for you, if you want to get your podcast restarted, you want to give it a bit of a kick up the butt, then sign up for the Podcast Makeover. Go to www.7millionbikes.com/podcast makeover. Sign up today and let's get your podcast kicking butt in the next 14 days. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning as well, this is a test of the monetization strategy. Can you create a package that is going to appeal to your clients? Now, as I said, this is a bit of a test for me. to see if I can put my money where my mouth is. I'm telling you that to support your podcast, the best thing to do is to sell your own services. So this is what I'm doing today. I do podcast production. I like to think of myself as a podcast expert, not in monetization, not in growth, none of those sexy things. I'm an expert in creating the best podcast possible, and I want to help you do that today. And I assume that is why you are listening or watching this episode right now. So get in touch with me. Go to 7millionbikes.com/podcast makeover and book a call with me today to get started right now. Then we can make you the best podcast possible. All right, I look forward to hearing from you. Even if you don't sign up, let me know what you think of this episode. Let me know what you think of these tips and tricks. I love to hear from you. Don't forget, rate and review, subscribe, share it, all of that stuff that apparently is really good for the podcast. I'm not trying to be the next Joe Rogan. I'm not trying to be the next Stephen Bartlett. I'm not trying to get millions of downloads. I just want to help you make the best podcast possible. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.
Hi, my name is Sal Jeffries. I run the Mindset, Mood and Movement podcasts. I've been working with Neil at 7 Million Bikes for the whole of this year, literally from the start of my podcast to date. And I want to say a couple of things. So when we record the podcast, sometimes there are things that I need tweaking. There could be edits or clips. It's really simple. I give those instructions to Neil, he gets it sorted. There's sometimes a sound level differences between the guest mic and mine. Again, that's all sorted so the outcome is a really balanced sound. And also if there are issues with voice, little kind of sound interruptions, all those things that can distract a listener, Neil knows exactly what to do, cleans it up. The end result, highly professional, beautiful sounding podcast without distraction. That's exactly what I want. I know my listeners do. So if you're interested in having that level of podcast and that kind of quality, Neil is a great guy and I highly recommend you speak to him.